Welcome back, Dogface Soldiers. You are listening to the 3rd Infantry Division Realism Gaming Podcast. I am Sergeant McKenzie, NCOIC of Public Affairs, and with me today is First Lieutenant Cooper,
Hello there.
our man behind the ranks, Sergeant A. Byrd,
Hello there.
and finally our speaker, or our guest speaker of the night, the Soldier of the Quarter, Chief Warrant Officer to D. Lotus.
Hello.
And I'm going to hand it over to the main speaker, McKenzie, or Sergeant McKenzie. I don't want to be rude, sorry. And he's going to do the man behind the rank.
Thank you, sir. The man behind the rank with Sergeant A. Byrd. Now, to recap, Sergeant Byrd, you are the second squad leader for Second Squad Ghosts. And how long have you been doing that?
I have been the second squad leader of Ghosts since I think roughly around like December 10th of 2023. And for the last 2 weeks, I have been acting for Widowmakers. And I'm scheduled to do that till next 2 to 5 weeks, depending on how well I do, effectively.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those Trump seats where you can get fired at any point.
Yeah.
Well, with that, a few questions I have for you. First thing, what would you say is your favorite aspect of the unit?
I'm not gonna lie, as a lower enlisted, I definitely find it slightly monotonous of repetitively doing squad drills every weekend. But I'm not gonna lie, in my recent time as squad leader, I've been really enjoying building the operations for squad drills, and I've spent more time in college than one should have, and honestly, I really enjoy the aspect of learning as well as teaching. So I really enjoy doing squad drills now as a squad leader and teaching my guys and training my guys to be more effective weapons of killing for our Sunday operations.
Nice. Now, as you say, you talk about being like one of your better aspects is being a leader, specifically a squad leader. That brings me into my next question. For you, what defines a leader?
Tough question right off the bat. Yeah, I feel like I've been doing Milsim for damn near 15 years now. And I feel like a lot of units are plagued by a mild disconnect between leadership and subordinates. So a big thing for me is trying to level with them, making sure that my guys are as well informed as possible, that subtracting OPSEC information, making sure they're as well informed as possible, and they know what's going on, so they don't feel like they're out of the loop. And also just being there from when they have bitches, whine, complain, whatever they have to say. It definitely takes a lot of pressure off a lot of people's shoulders just to be able to talk to someone about any problem that is plaguing them. That was a big thing for First Lieutenant Frost, who is now Sergeant Frost. Was that he was a big guy about that when he was lieutenant, about listening to the complaints of his lowers. So that's my big thing, is I always try to make sure that I'm available for my lowers whenever they have complaints, and making sure that those complaints are going up to the appropriate staff that could do something about that and possibly change any kind of complaints that my lowers might have.
Perfect. Now, these are all just so far great segues. They're obviously with coming from a Milsim side of things, everything is on the internet. Everything is over the computer. We're only playing a video game, but we're still a community nonetheless. Now, as a key member of our leadership, how would you go about solving inter-unit issues, whether it be from the squad side or platoon side?
So I've already had to deal with quite a bit of this. Once again, I mean, at a unit of roughly 80 people, it's always kind of impossible to get along with all 80 people. I think the big thing is finding common ground, and realizing that the person in front of you is not your enemy, but your ally. And you might have a disagreement with that individual, but at the end of the day, you guys both put on, we load into Arma, both put on the same uniform, you both fight the same enemy. So there is no reason to directly engage in toxic behavior with one another. So level-headed ideas and keeping a clear mind when you're communicating. I had to learn a lot about like ethos, pathos, logos, or whatever it's called in college. So once you start throwing personal insults to one another, you pretty much have already lost the argument before it started. So the big thing is, making sure that you're staying on topic and continuing with the problem at hand so that you both as individuals can find a middle ground and overcome said topic would probably be the biggest thing that I would advise for solving inter-unit issues.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Now, you did say that you've been doing MilSim for roughly 15 years. Now, what people don't know is that you're actually coming up on 2.5 years in the next, 5 days, with specifically the third ID. Um, while being within the third ID for the last 2.5 years, uh, do you know at this point where you see yourself in this unit by the time that you'll hit your kind of like your retirement era?
If I could have it, if I could have it the way that I would want to have it, and that my friends would love to have it. I've been here for now 2.5 years, as you stated. Um, I started in Scorpions. I was in Scorpions for almost 2 years. I met a lot of great people, but McKenzie, you're one of the members of Scorpions. You know that we breed leadership in Scorpions.
Oh yeah.
I would love to somehow for the stars to align, us to get First Lieutenant Vandal back as squad leader of Scorpions, Winters and Ivanov as team lead, me, you, Lewis, all the homies back. If we get Crawford back in the ranks,
Oh yeah, Crawford.
even get Simmons with this tinnitus, man. I love it. Bring back the crew together and just. We were a well-oiled machine of literal idiots just having a ball every weekend. That would be I would go down to PFC in a heartbeat if they're like, by the way, Vandal's leading the squad. I'd be like, cool, sign me up.
Yeah, I'm right.
I don't
there
care. I'll
with
take
you.
the 2 pay grade demotion.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'd do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat, man.
At the end of the day, you always got to return to your roots.
Oh, of course. As much as I love the nostalgia of feeling old, when you're not obviously being a leader in the capacity that you are, obviously mostly as a squad leader, but for as of right now, the platoon leader or the platoon sergeant, I should say. How do you spend your free time out of game?
So I live out in the sticks of West Virginia, right on the border of Northern Virginia. And for some reason, Northern Virginia got so rich with its money that it's decided to try to contest California vineyards as well as breweries. So a big hobby of mine is bar hopping. And I can blame Staff Sergeant Ivanov on my great tolerance to the booze, because that man would always message me and be like, guys, it's that time of the day. And I always forget that, he's in St. Petersburg. So he's plus 7 hours.
Yep.
So it's like 5 o'clock for him, but like 10 a.m. for me. And I'm like, well, I can't let a friend drink alone.
Yeah.
So my big thing is I like the brewery hop, and I'm a big outdoorsman. I will always go out on a hike. I live right off the Appalachian Trail. So, I end up hiking a lot and, having a blast with my 2 Aussies and my English Bulldog.
Nice. Now, this is something that you can definitely direct to the other squad leaders, especially in your current capacity. What would you say builds a good bond between superiors and subordinates? I know that that's been a very big thing with this unit for a while, and I know that we're starting to turn it around. So, what would you say is that?
I'm going to use some words that will definitely be frowned upon. Just they're not. Squad drills is every Sunday or every Saturday. I mean, And let it be known, not everyone is super excited to do squad drills, but especially at the platoon level, is that endure with your men. So if they're not having a good time at squad drills, guess what? You might be a platoon leader and you might not be required to be at squad drills, but show up. Show them that you're there with them through every step of the way from A to Z. You're with them. You ride and die together. If you show them the same loyalty they show you, trust me, they'll follow you into hell and back. So that's my big thing, is that I try to make sure that I'm always present at any team event that I can be. I have exceptional attendance to the NCO meetings every month where we all get to complain as NCOs. It's always a great time. I'm pretty sure Garcia loves hearing when I show up. So I make sure to be at the NCO meetings. I make sure to show up to all my shop meetings. I make sure to show up to all my squad drills. I make sure that I'm the first in the server for Ghost Squad on Sundays and Saturdays, and I make sure that I'm usually the last out. Today being an exception because I had to come to this.
Yeah. I'm sure they don't mind.
Oh yeah.
Now, we did talk about how you spend your free time outside a game. What would you say is your relaxation game?
Probably the most stressful game that I ever play, which is Hearts of Iron.
Yeah.
I got about 3,000 hours on that game of just running numbers and stat lines.
I'm up there with you, man. I mean, not close to 3,000. I think I'm pushing like 1,800 now.
I think I'm at like 27 of playing Road to 56, Kaiserreich, and Millennium Dawn on repeat.
I got to throw in a little bit of Old World Blues in there just to kind of like break
Oh
up
yeah,
the tension,
every now and then you got to throw in an Old Wars Blue so you can just play it for a single night and be like, cool, I'm done.
Yeah.
Just a quick little 4-hour game session, you're done. Oh wow, Caesar just had another stroke. What a shame.
Oh man. Now, especially because you're starting to get up there in position. They've I would hope to say that company and battalion are starting to look at you with that microscope and saying that this guy can be our next guy. What would you say if there is one thing that you could change in this unit? What would that be?
Ooh, one thing I could change in this unit. That's a really tough question.
I would love casual Fridays.
Yeah, casual Fridays. Honestly, a lot of people will not understand this reference, but back in 2013, when we used to have drinking Saturdays with Sklenar, that was a great time. I'm not going to lie. They hated us for doing it because we'd all show up to fucking squad drills hammered. But I think morale was at an all-time high. And honestly, Major needs to bring back Mimosa Mondays. I remember you used to do that.
Oh yeah.
Haven't seen that up in a minute. I understand that you're a father figure now, but come on, we need Mimosa Mondays.
You gotta let loose a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Obviously we've had a couple of moments now where we've kind of went down the memory lane. What would you say is a memory of the unit that kind of stuck with you the most?
I definitely got two. One recently, one first week here in Scorpions, actually.
Yeah.
I remember I went to my first op, and I haven't played Arma, and because I've once again been doing Milsim for 15 years. I've been in third ID for 3 now, or 2.5, and then I was in Xbox Milsim for 11 years, and then I was back on Arma way back in the day for with like 7th Ave for 2 years or something like that. Showed up to my first op, got shot in the head, dropped like a bag of bricks, hit the dirt. I remember I had two people looking over at me. It was Hobbs, if you remember Hobbs from the old Scorpion day, and Payson.
Yeah.
And they were doing medical. I remember one of them calling out, "Okay, he's stable." And I guess they were closing the Ace, because back then we were on Ace Medical, we were even on Cat, and they're closing the menu. And when they're clicking through to close it, one of them ripped out a round and just and shot me. And I remember I just heard a gunshot, and I was like, that sounded really close. And I just hear Payson go, never mind, he's not stable anymore. And I was like, did they just shoot me? I was like, damn, it'd be like that. It'd be your own homies. Most recently, I want to say about 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago, we had an air assault into the last map that we were on, XCAM. And we were going to touch down, and I guess there was some sort of miscommunication between the pilots and the crew about if we are going to be doing a complete landing or if we're going to be fast roping. So they went to do a fast rope. At the same time, they were trying to touch down that bird. And the next thing I heard was we were in a complete, absolute free spin, just swirling around in a circle. And I was like, man, I'm going to throw up if this continues. And I believe it was, I don't know his rank, actually. The 3-cab guy, Frost. Cooper might be able to answer his.
I think at the time he was Warrant Officer 1, maybe?
Yeah. Warrant Officer 1, Frost, and I can't remember who his co-pilot was. I could see them just, because I was sitting right in the middle seat looking right at the cockpit. I could see him just ripping at the fucking sticks, trying to pull that bitch under control. And right as soon as he got it controlled, he was like, okay, good. We've ended the spin. And he goes, I can't slow her down. I can't slow her down. We're going in hot. And I was like, are we good? He goes, we're 5,000 meters above ground and we're going 700 miles per hour. We are not fucking good at all. And he's like, I just kept watching his character just pull the sticks forwards to try to relieve pressure and then just yank them back. And I was like, I'm looking at the map and I'm watching us just trail across the little hexagon that lights up for the bird on the map. I'm just watching us bullet across the map at Mach Jesus. And I'm like, oh my God, we're not slowing down. And he's like, I can't get it under control. And next thing I hear is brace. And then we just slam to the earth like a fucking asteroid. And I was like, cool, I'm 3 minutes into op and I am dead. Let's run it back.
I definitely remember aircrafts have been usually like the biggest memories for anyone. Like in milsim, if there's ever a memory that someone's gonna have while being in a milsim, it's there's an aircraft somewhere involved in there.
Oh yeah, 3 crashes definitely involved.
Now, especially being in milsims as long as you have been, with the amount of experience and knowledge that you have, what got you into milsims in the first place, and specifically, I would say both Arma milsims and just milsims in general.
God, so long ago. I think I was just playing in a public match, and it was like 7th Cab's like public server, and they're like, "Hey, man, like you want to join?" And I was like, God, 15 years ago, I was like 14 or something like that, 13. I was like, sure, why not? And at the time, they were actually had positions open for your position, where I wasn't a flight medical. I was security detail for like flight medical. So like, I think our call sign was like Angel 7 or something like that, and we would pretty much touch down, and I got to carry a shitload of 5.56 and a saw and just jump out of the bird and be like, the medic has to pick someone up. I got to give covering fire. Let me burn this barrel hot. And so every time we touched down, I was like, cool, let me just start spraying with a M249 until I got bored. And then we loaded the casualty up and took off. I did that for about 2 years. And then I switched up to PC Kick the Bucket. So I went to Xbox, joined an Xbox milsim that was playing on Battlefield 4 because it's all we had, which was rough. But to be honest, they do PvP instead of PvE, which is kind of cool. I did that for about 10 years. Blasted through ranks on that. Ended up my career as a major of an infantry company. For First Force Reconnaissance, USMC. Did that for, I was major for about 3 years before we switched to PC and we went to squad, and I just couldn't do squad. So I came back here to Arma. I've always kind of been a fan. I come from a military family, so, the military aspect is always right there. personally, right now, I'm kind of just crunching the gym every day to cut weight and join, the Chair Force Reserve because I can't be asked to do any more.
Yeah, I hear you. Now, right now, obviously, you're a squad leader. You're currently running um, as a platoon sergeant. You've been a rifleman, a grenadier, a saw gunner. I'm sure you've probably had a little bit of medical somewhere in there. Is there any role that you haven't done yet that you think that you would want to try?
Yeah, I've pretty much done it all but flight. I haven't done flight, and I guess I haven't done recon either. Um, Personally, for me, honestly, I've realized that my billet, my job is to make sure that my lowers are having as much fun as they can. So I bring the SDM every week, but I never use it because I just point targets out and tell my guys to shoot at it. So I think I'd do great in recon, but every time, especially recently, now that I'm running as company platoon sergeant, I can unleash the Apache. I would love to be an Apache gunner, or I love the Black Hawk. I think the Black Hawk's such a cool plane. Or helicopter. I would love to just be a crew chief or a pilot for the Black Hawk and just cruise around up in my own little world, all by myself.
Nice. Lieutenant Cooper, you got yourself a new one here.
Oh, I'm writing it down. Trust me.
Well, Sergeant Byrd, we have taken up a good chunk of your time. We've gotten to know you very well. I think a lot better than a lot of people probably have in a very long time. To end this segment with you, is there anything that you want to say to your fellow soldiers here in the Third ID?
Well, as you said priorly, I'm currently under the scope for looking for a higher billet position. So I got to appease the gods above me and say, remember, gentlemen, report in.